What it felt like hitting Derrick Henry, bro? What that feel like? Cause
I'm trying to get there as fast as possible before he can start moving. I definitely felt it. I don't really want to take on all 250 pounds. You know, when I hit him and he wasn't even moving.
Now wait a minute. I know what you're thinking. How does a small 6 foot 200 pound DB lift a 6'3", 250 pound running back off his feet, who is known to do his defenders nasty? But let me just inform you, Cooper Dejean is a bad boy, and I'm calling it now. He had the best 22nd birthday any football player could ever have, for having his first pick in his rookie season and returning it for a touchdown in a Super Bowl that his team won. It just doesn't get any better than that. But what if I told you playing football was not what he thought he would be doing for a living when he was a kid? Because he was actually really nice on the basketball court.
End of my sophomore year is when I really thought football would be my thing rather than basketball, because I always thought I was going to play basketball.
But to know how he got here, we must go back 22 years ago on February 9th, 2003. The son of Jason and Katie Dejean, he grew up in a community where everybody knows your name. Picture this, a tiny Iowa farming town of 900 people, where cattle outnumbered humans 4-1, and the closest thing to a skyscraper is a grain silo. You know that thing you see when you on a road trip in the middle of nowhere? Well, this is Otobo, Iowa, once dubbed the popcorn capital of the world, and it's where Cooper Dejean's legend began.
Obviously, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. So it's pretty cool just walking around. Everybody knows us football players.
But don't let the quiet cornfields fool you. Beneath the large fields of soil, a football phenom was brewing, whose journey will overcome every odds stacked against small town athletes. For Cooper, this tight-knit community became the foundation for his journey, a place where dreams were nurtured by the unwavering support of neighbors, coaches, and family. Growing up in Otobo meant learning the value of hard work early on, whether it was helping out on a family farm or giving his all on the field. The town's small size might be limited to resources, but it never limited its heart, and that heart will play a pivotal role in shaping Cooper into the athlete and person he is today. From the moment Cooper could walk, it seemed he was destined for sports. His early years were a whirlwind of activity, with football quickly becoming his first love. But Cooper wasn't content with just one sport. He wanted to do it all. By the time he reached middle school, he was a bucket on the basketball court, a standout on a baseball diamond, and a force to be reckoned with on the track. His natural athleticism was impossible to ignore, and he just had a way of making the extraordinary look effortless.
At a young age, his love for sports in general was just incredible. I mean, it was crazy how much he loved it and would work at it.
Yet, what truly set him apart wasn't just his physical talent, it was his relentless drive to improve. His pop said instead of going to school dances, Cooper would go to the gym and work out to improve his craft little by little.
When other people were going to dances and things like that, he'd go to the rec center and lift.
Even as a kid, Cooper had a work ethic that seemed beyond his years, spending countless hours practicing his throws, perfecting his jump shot, and honing his speed. But here's what they didn't tell you. Cooper's story isn't just about talent. It's about a kid who turned a small town in Iowa into a launching pad. But this is only the beginning. What happens when a small town underdog becomes an NFL sensation? How does a community's pride morph into a national inspiration? Stay tuned, because Cooper's story is proof that legends aren't born in bright lights, they're grown in the dirt. Want to know how a second-round draft pick shocked the NFL? Or why his Iowa teammates called him the silent assassin? Let's dive deeper. Cooper spent his high school years at Otobo, Alter, Battle Creek, Ida Grove, known as OABCIG. Cooper said that this one school district made up 4 surrounding towns. And I guess to not complicate the process, they just put all the names into one, so nobody felt left out. But from the moment he stepped onto the field, it was clear he was destined for greatness. But what made Cooper really special wasn't just his raw talent, it was his ability to rise to the occasion when it mattered most, turning pressure into good performances and dreams into reality. And he did it all over the field, whether it was at quarterback, running back, receiver, safety, DB, punt, or kick return. Dude was an Army Swiss knife on the field and was a force to be reckoned with. By his senior year, he redefined what it meant to be a two-way player. With a cannon for an arm and the instincts of a seasoned veteran, he shattered school records, piling up jaw-dropping passing yards and touchdowns that left fans and opponents shocked. But Cooper wasn't just about his stats, he was a leader, the kind of player who could rally his team with a single play. His crowning achievements came in back-to-back national championship runs, where he cemented his legacy as a clutch performer, with one of those performances coming in the 2020 state championship game. With the clock winding down and the pressure at its peak, Cooper orchestrated one of the best comeback performances, and it wasn't just for what he did only as a quarterback, but in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. With under 5 minutes left in the game, Cooper's opponent Van Meter scored, making it 26-18, but Cooper blocked the PAT to keep the game in reach. Then it turned into the Cooper Dejean show. From a few yards out, he found the edge, untouched, to find the end zone. Then to tie the game going for 2, he did it again. Then some way, somehow, the football gods were on the Falcons' side because Van Meter fumbled on the kickoff, giving Cooper one more chance to bring the championship home for the second straight year. And that's exactly what he did, zigzagging through defenders like a video game for a 19-yard game-winning touchdown. And he did all this in just 120 seconds. And he also had a run similar to this in college, but we gonna get into that.
After I got out of the mess on the left side, I saw it was wide open to the right, so I just took off, and I knew I had to get into the end zone.
But this wasn't just a championship game. It stamped Cooper as Iowa's ultimate high school legend. As a senior, he threw for 3,400 yards and 35 touchdowns, while rushing for 1,200 yards and 24 touchdowns, leading OABCIG to a perfect 12-0 record in back-to-back state titles. And on defense, he was a ball-hawking menace with 5 interceptions and had the talent for turning games upside down. This performance ultimately earned him the 2020 Gatorade Player of the Year award, but that wasn't all. He was also an All-American Adidas Bowl Player of the Year, Sioux City Journal Player of the Year, and was selected as captain of the Class 1A All-State team. But when football season was over, he immediately hopped in the gym and was catching bodies.
One-on-one, and he is going to throw it down.
On the court, Cooper was must-watch TV. This dude was a walking bucket. Two-sport athletes is almost common at every high school across the country, but to be as dominant as he was at more than one sport, it was just unheard of. He was literally jumping out the gym every chance he got and was a scoring machine, dropping 1,800 career points, placing him just behind Vikings tight end TJ Hawkinson and 55 points ahead All-American and current Spurs player Harrison Barnes on the state's all-time scoring list. However, Cooper wasn't just an offensive powerhouse, he was a defensive nightmare for opponents. With lightning fast reflexes and a knack for reading the game, he ranks among the state leaders in career steals with 218, often turning defense into offense in a blink of an eye. His versatility and competitive fire made him a once-in-a-generation talent, the kind of player who could change the course of a game with a single play. And those weren't the only 2 places he showed his talent. Once spring rolled around, he was back outside, this time leaving people in his dust on the track. As a senior, he secured 3 gold medals in long jump, the 100 meters, and the 4x100 meter relay, showcasing his explosive speed and leaping ability. His record-setting long jump of 24 feet 2 inches wasn't just a personal achievement, it was a statement and was placed 6th best in Iowa history. Cooper wasn't just competing, he was redefining what was deemed as impossible, pushing the boundaries of his own potential with every leap and sprint.
A lot of fun competing for the school with these guys, being able to represent them. The past 2 years of football have been great. Every single sport, we've had more and more success as my 4 years.
However, there's a twist to his high school career. Despite being Gatorade Player of the Year in jaw-dropping numbers, big schools slept on him. In a world where exposure often trumps talent, his small-town roots meant that college scouts weren't exactly beating down his door. While other athletes from larger schools were showered with scholarship offers, Cooper had to prove himself at every camp he attended. And actually, his first couple offers came from local community colleges like Iowa Western and Iowa Central. Then some D1 programs started to reach out after attending Junior Day, like South Dakota and North Dakota State. But then came Iowa's Junior Day visit, a childhood dream. The Hawkeyes offered him on a spot as a defensive back, but the word around town is that some people questioned why not quarterback. But Cooper could care less, saying, "I wanted to prove myself where they needed me most." The kid who grew up 90 minutes from Iowa City chose loyalty over hype.
A little bit overwhelming, but it's also been fun at the same time, being able to visit all the schools. And my parents and I, we were both learning as we went along because I don't have any older brothers or anything like that, and grew up an Iowa fan my whole life, so it's always been a dream of mine to play there. So the decision was pretty easy for me.
His high school career wasn't just about stats, it was about betting on himself. No 5-star rankings, no ESPN hype trains, just raw grit in a town that believed in him before the world caught on. Now stay locked in with me because this underdog's journey from Odebo dirt fields to NFL glory is only getting started. Let me hit you with this. Imagine going from being the man in a small Iowa town to stepping onto a Big Ten field where players were just like you. A star. That was Cooper Dejean's reality as a freshman. He was buried on the depth chart and only played in the final 3 games of the season, where he just recorded 4 tackles, mainly spending most of his time on special teams. But coaches called him raw. Critics, however, whispered maybe he's just a high school hero. But behind the scenes, he was studying film like a madman, drilling footwork at 6 a.m. and was waiting for his moment. Then came his sophomore year in 2022. Cooper flipped the script, starting at cornerback, or was more like a hybrid linebacker safety role, and also played punt returner. He became Iowa's Swiss Army knife. In week 10 against Wisconsin, he had 10 tackles and a pick 6. By the season's end, he racked up 75 tackles, 5 interceptions, which he returned 3 for touchdowns, and the Music City Bowl MVP trophy. Oh, let me not forget, he broke Iowa's single season pick 6 record as a sophomore. Coaches called him unguardable, and opponents called him a nightmare. The nation, however, in the football world was finally paying attention. Scouts started to circle he was a first rounder, but Cooper, he wasn't done.
The beast, he's all over the place. It's like he's kind of like a video game character out there sometimes, it looks like.
Great dude in the meeting rooms, just very locked in guy. And
2023 was supposed to be his crowning moment. Instead, it became a roller coaster ride. First, remember that play I was talking about that mirrored his high school championship run? Well, that came this year, what was supposed to be a game-winning 54-yard punt return against Minnesota.
High end over at punt. Dejean not going to touch it. Until now, little spin down the sideline, gets in space. Here he comes. Cooper Dejean cuts it back. He's got a chance. He scores.
But what you probably didn't catch was this right here. It was called back by a controversial invalid fair catch call. Replays show Cooper never signaled. The Big Ten later admitted the refs blew it, causing Iowa to lose 12-10.
Never called for fair catch with my left hand ever. I was kind of just like keeping my balance, I guess, trying to run to the ball, but you know, it happens.
But 2 weeks later, disaster struck. A routine tackle against Rutgers resulted in a broken fibula, ending his season. No Heisman campaign, no final chapter, just 41 tackles and 2 interceptions closed out this chapter of his career. And after just 3 seasons, he decided to declare for the draft. But why? Let's break it down. 120 tackles, 7 interceptions, 3 defensive touchdowns in just 3 years, and 241 punt return yards. But stats don't tell the full story. Scouts questioned his speed post-injury. Analysts nitpicked at his tweener position. Nobody knew what he really played. Linebacker, safety, DB. With All-American honors and a healed leg, Cooper declared for the 2024 draft, saying, "I've got some unfinished business." The underdog narrative wasn't done with him yet, but here's what no one was talking about: that Minnesota return. The NFL saw it. They knew he was a weapon. Now the question was, where does he land? And can the kid from Otago outrun the doubters one last time? The road to the 2024 draft was kind of shaky for Cooper at first. After a dominant college career where he earned All-American honors and became Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year, he entered the pre-draft process as an interesting prospect, a rare blend of athleticism, versatility, and football IQ. However, questions loomed large. The fractured fibula sidelined him for the combine, robbing scouts of a chance to witness his explosiveness firsthand. Instead, Cooper rehabbed relentlessly and attended Iowa's Pro Day, where he silenced doubters with a 4.4 40, a 38-inch vertical, and a 10'4" broad jump, numbers that screamed elite athlete. Yet, whispers echoed. Was he a DB, a safety, a Swiss Army knife for modern defenses? Analysts debated his fit, but one truth remained. Cooper was a football player, plain and simple. Wherever you put him, he was going to ball. Entered the Eagles. GM Howie Roseman, known for his smart draft moves, saw in Cooper a dog. But here's a twist. Philly drafted Quinyon Mitchell at 22, but Howie couldn't sleep on Cooper. Why? 3 words: Swiss Army knife. The Eagles needed a defender where they could place everywhere: outside, slot, safety, special teams, and Cooper's tape screamed he was that guy. When Philly traded up to number 40, sacrificing picks 50, 53, and 161 to the Washington Commanders, it wasn't just a draft move, it was a chess move.
And with the 40th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Cooper Dejean, DB, Iowa.
On day 2 of the draft, the Eagles stunned the league by grabbing Cooper. But a funny little backstory to his draft though was somehow his number got leaked on day 1 of the draft, and he kept getting prank calls.
I read some online, he was getting prank calls.
I saw
and all
it, bro.
that.
That boy was getting, he had to almost throw the phone away.
I was getting prank calls.
That's crazy.
Left and right. I probably got 30 or 40 of them from all from different numbers.
It's a prank. It's a prank.
to the point where he stopped answering his phone and didn't even answer Philly when they called him on day 2. They only got in touch with him because of his agent.
Eagles called me on my phone, and I declined it the first. They had to call my agent. So I had to take the phone from him.
Like, yo, where the fuck is Cooper?
For Howie, the decision was a no-brainer.
Cooper was a consideration yesterday, and we thought one of the best defense players in the draft, and really excited to add him and his skill set to our team.
The Eagles' vision was clear. Cooper's versatility fit perfectly into new defensive coordinator's Vic Fangio's zone-heavy scheme. He could lock down receivers outside, patrol the slot, drop into safety, or even disrupt plays as a hybrid linebacker. And with his punt return skills, Philly had just landed a weapon, not just a defender. By week 5 of the 2024 season, the Eagles were 2-2. Their defense was leaking like a busted pipe, and Cooper Dejean, the second round from nowhere Iowa, was glued to the bench. Critics roasted Howie for drafting him. Too slow for corner, too small for safety. Fast forward 3 months, and that same kid was high-stepping into the Super Bowl end zone with a pick 6 on his 22nd birthday. But let's take it back a little bit to see how he got here. Weeks 1 through 5, Cooper was a ghost with just 12 special team snaps total, buried behind veterans like Avonte Maddox. Fans called him a wasted pick, but behind the scenes, Cooper was just silently waiting for his opportunity because he knew when he got it, he was going to ball. Then came the Browns game in week 6. Maddox got benched. Cooper steps into the nickelback role and erupts. 6 tackles and a half a sack. He played 91% of defensive snaps, blitzing, covering, and out-hustling everyone. The Eagles sideline erupted. He looked like a 10-year veteran, defensive lineman Jalen Carter said later. By halftime, Philly fans were chanting, "Coop!" like he was Rocky Balboa. But here's the twist. Cooper didn't just play nickel. By week 10, he was lining up everywhere. Outside corners, safety, even blitzing off the edge. On the season, he had 51 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, and 6 pass breakups, while also adding 211 punt return yards. But his real value was locking down defenders. Opposing quarterbacks had a 79.2 passer rating targeting him. But remember that pre-draft noise? Wasted pick. He wasn't going to contribute at all. Well, Cooper weaponized it. The Eagles' road to Super Bowl 59 was nothing short of spectacular, and Cooper was right in the middle of it. Throughout the playoffs, he showcased why the Eagles took that chance on him by making crucial plays. In the wildcard, divisional, and NFC championship, he showed up with 15 tackles and 3 pass breakups across those 3 games. But what he did in the big game was just legendary. In the second quarter, just over 6 minutes left, Mahomes flushed from the pocket, fires a crosser, but Cooper was reading the play like a psychic, undercuts the route, snags the ball, and boats 38 yards for a pick 6. The score, 17-0. The moment, historic. First NFL interception and first Super Bowl touchdown on his birthday, and he is the youngest defender to ever score in a big game. The Eagles went on to dominate, winning 40-22, and Cooper's interception was the talk of the town. His teammates couldn't stop raving about him. The media dubbed him the birthday boy wonder, but what did Cooper himself think of this fairy tale moment?
Best birthday ever. Greatest birthday ever. Can't top it. Awesome.
Being able to play in the Super Bowl, first of all, my rookie season in the NFL, and being able to score a touchdown is even crazier. I'm just so happy to be a part of this team and this organization.
But here's the thing, this is just the beginning of Cooper Dejean. At 22, with the Super Bowl ring and a game-changing play already under his belt, what's next for this small-town kid turned NFL star? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the football world will be watching his every move. So as we close this chapter of Cooper's incredible journey, stay locked in with him, even if you aren't an Eagles fan, because I am for sure that this story is far from over.